Have you ever wondered how you can be surrounded by people and sometimes feel completely alone? You can have a job, a routine, even a relationship, and still feel like no one really sees you. Not the real you. You might be scrolling through your phone, looking at lives full of love, laughter, soulmates, and soul tribes, and wonder quietly, where is mine? Why does it feel like I'm on the outside of something everyone else seems to have? Maybe you've had moments of deep connection, but they slipped away. Maybe you've tried to love someone, only to be ghosted, misunderstood, or left behind. Maybe you felt like you were too much for some people and not enough for others. You crave friendship that doesn't feel forced. Love that doesn't feel like a game. A sense of belonging that doesn't require you to perform or shrink. If you've ever ached for someone to really get you, to meet you where you are, to stay, you are not alone. But ironically, that's exactly how this wound makes us feel. Alone, separate, different, disconnected. We think it's a personal failure, but it's not. It's something far deeper. Something older than your breakup, your heartbreak, and your loneliness. It's a wound built into being human. A pain we don't often name, but we all carry it. The pain of separation. This pain of separation doesn't always show up as loneliness. Sometimes it disguises itself. It becomes envy when you see someone who has the relationship you long for. The job you thought you deserved. The ease you've never felt. And deep down it hurts, not just because they have it, but because you feel like you're not even close. It becomes jealousy when someone you love seems to choose someone else. A friend who drifts away. A partner whose attention wanders. Suddenly, your value feels conditional. You feel invisible, replaced. It becomes shame when you think, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm too much, too quiet, too intense, too weird. You start to believe there's something fundamentally unlovable about you. It becomes resentment when you've given so much to others, but they never really showed up for you. You bite your tongue, you act fine, but inside it festers. It becomes anger when people let you down again, when the world seems unfair, when you feel like you're always reaching out and no one ever reaches back. And for some, it turns into hatred toward the world, toward others, sometimes even toward themselves. These emotions, envy, shame, jealousy, anger, bitterness, they don't make you broken. They make you human. They're not flaws. They're signals. Each one is trying to say the same thing. I feel separate. I feel unseen. I feel like I don't belong. And unless we recognize that root, we'll keep trying to fix the symptom without ever healing the wound. The pain of separation doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it turns cold. Sometimes it turns cruel. People who feel deeply disconnected from others, from belonging, from their own sense of worth, can become so lost in pain they turn it outward. This is where we see the pain of separation metastasize into abuse, violence, and even murder. Because if I am truly separate from you, if I do not see myself in you, then I can harm you, or use you, or destroy you. In some of the world's most tragic events, wars, genocide, domestic abuse, school shootings, we often find a trail of disconnection. A person who felt invisible, unloved, discarded, or unwanted, and instead of healing that pain, they made others feel it too. This is not to excuse harm. It's to understand the wound behind it. When people lose connection to themselves and others, they lose their ability to empathize. And when there is no empathy, there is no barrier to destruction. This is why mystics across traditions say that the illusion of separateness is the first and most dangerous illusion. Because once we believe we are alone, anything becomes justifiable. The pain of separation isn't new. It's not modern. It didn't begin with your ex or your family or your social feed. This pain goes back much further, to the very beginning of existence, the universe and our consciousness, and every spiritual tradition has tried to explain it. Every spiritual tradition, in its own language, has spoken about this sense of disconnection, not just from other people, but from the divine, from wholeness, from our true self. Kabbalah says that in the beginning there was only infinite light, the Ein Sof, pure divine being. But in order to create a word that wasn't just a reflection of that infinite light, the divine performed an act called tzimtzum, a contraction. God withdrew from a space within itself to make room for creation. This wasn't rejection, it was love creating space. And into that empty space, God poured light. But to contain that light, vessels were formed. And here's where everything changed. The vessels, meant to hold divine energy, shattered. The light was too vast, too powerful, too infinite for them to contain. This is known as the breaking of the vessels, Shevirat Hakelim. Divine light scattered, and the world as we know it was born, not whole and perfect, but fragmented. And with it, so were we. We carry the shards, these broken vessels in ourselves. Our souls are like fragments of the original unity, scattered across the physical world. And this is the pain of separation, not just from each other, but from our origin, our wholeness, the source itself. But this isn't the end of the story. The Kabbalists teach us that our purpose now is tikkun, or repair or correction, to bring the fragments back together, to elevate the sparks of divine light hidden in all things, including our suffering. So the pain you feel, the ache for love, belonging, unity, it's not a flaw in the system. It is the system. It's the invitation. Your longing is the map. Your separation is the key. Because to be human is to remember what was lost and to participate in the great cosmic return. Where Kabbalah gives us mythopoetic cosmology, a story of divine contraction, shattering, and return, Buddhism offers a phenomenological path, a teaching that the illusion of separation arises through ignorance, or avidya, and ego construction. But both ultimately describe a fall from unity, a world of fragmentation, a human path toward wholeness, liberation, and return. In Mahayana Buddhism, there is the concept of Tathagata, or suchness or thusness. This is the ultimate reality, pure, undivided, beyond duality. It is not a creator God, but the true nature of all things, untouched and luminous. We all originate in this non-dual awareness, where there is no I and you, no separation, no suffering, only suchness. But then ignorance arises, avidya, We begin to perceive the world through the lens of subject and object, the self and other. We form an ego, a constructed sense of me, as separate from the world. This is the Buddhist breaking, not of the vessels, but of the unified field of awareness into fragmented world of name and form, namarupa. This illusion gives rise to dukkha, suffering. The world we live in, samsara, is like the post-shattering world in Kabbalah. It's filled with clinging, craving, aversion, comparison, and confusion. We chase after things to complete us, forgetting we were already whole. This is our dismemberment, not physical, but perceptual. In Buddhism, the path isn't to put the pieces back together, but to see clearly, to pierce through the illusion of separateness, to remember through meditation, mindfulness, and compassion that everything is interconnected, impermanent, and not self, anatta. Enlightenment isn't becoming someone new. It's remembering what we always were, aware, whole, boundless. Where one tradition speaks of divine sparks scattered through creation, the other teaches that our minds scatter reality into fragments and then suffer from the pieces. But both agree, the pain we feel isn't random. It's a result of forgetting something profound. And the way home is not outside of us, but through awareness, stillness, and compassion. Other traditions may use different metaphors, but many share the same core pattern: a primordial unity, a separation or fall, a fragmented world, a longing for return, a path of reconnection. Now let's explore how this framework plays out in Hinduism, Christianity, and Sufism, and more ancient or esoteric systems, and how they mirror the stories of Tzimtzum and Shevirat Hakelim in Kabbalah, or Avidya and Samsara in Buddhism. In Vedanta and other Hindu philosophical schools, Brahman is the infinite, undivided consciousness, pure being. But for creation to occur, Brahman manifests as multiplicity through Maya, the divine illusion or veil. The self, Atman, forgets its identity with Brahman. This forgetting is the separation. The material world becomes a playground of apparent duality. But it's only a play, lila, a divine game. The path is yoga, union, to return to the truth that Atman is Brahman. Like Tzimtzum, Brahman steps back through Maya to allow multiplicity. Like the breaking of the vessels, the ego fractures our unity with Source. And like Tikkun, spiritual practice is a return to non-dual awareness. In Christian mystical theology, humanity is created in the image of God, in harmony. But through the fall, symbolized by Adam and Eve, we become separated from God. This creates a world of suffering, confusion, and death, a type of shattered unity. But Christ becomes the path of reconciliation, a bridge between humanity and God. The ultimate goal is atonement, at one ment, the restoration of unity. The fall mirrors the breaking of vessels or the arising of ignorance. The presence of Christ as Logos, the Word, echoes the divine light sent into broken form. Redemption is the return, the tikkun, through grace, faith, and love. Sufi mysticism, the esoteric branch of Islam. The soul was once united with the beloved, God, in the unseen realm. Upon entering this world, it forgets that unity. Life becomes a journey of longing, loss, and remembrance. This longing is seen as divine, a holy homesickness. Through love, remembrance, decor, and surrender, the soul returns to union. Even pre-religious or mythic systems share this arc. In Gnosticism, the soul descends into material world and forgets its divine origin. The demiurge creates a fragmented world of illusion. Knowledge or gnosis is the way back to the original light. The Egyptian story of Iris and Osiris tells how Osiris is dismembered, broken into parts, and scattered. Isis gathers the pieces to reconstitute him, a literal act of tikkun. Life and kingship are restored. The Greek mysteries of Orpheus and Dionysus, gods are torn apart and remembered. Initiates symbolically die to their lower self and return to a divine state. The myth of dismemberment and remembrance is universal. Whether it's divine light, shattered vessels, or forgotten souls, the story is always about losing the original wholeness and seeking to return. In Kabbalah is the light shattering the vessels. In Buddhism, it's ignorance fracturing awareness. In Hinduism, it's Maya veiling the self. In Christianity, is the fall from grace. In Sufism, is the soul exiled from the beloved. And in ancient mythologies, it's gods torn apart and restored. Each one tells us the same thing. We came from wholeness, we fell into fragmentation. And the ache we carry, this longing, this grief, this emptiness, is the signal calling us home. It's easy to think of this pain of separation as just emotional. But what if it's also cosmic? Because modern science, especially in cosmology, physics, and neuroscience, seems to echo the same story mystics have told for centuries. Let's start at the beginning of everything. According to most scientists, the universe began with the Big Bang, an unimaginably dense, hot, singular point of total unity. All of space, time, matter, and energy were compressed into one point. Then, in an instant, it expanded. Not a quiet unfolding, but an explosive release, a bursting outward, a cosmic tzimtzum, from singularity to fragmentation. The same light now scattered across galaxies, the same energy now differentiated into particles, stars, and living beings. It's as if the universe, too, had to separate from itself to create something new. Sound familiar? Soon after the Big Bang, the universe cooled, and the primal forces, once unified, split. What we now call gravity, electromagnetism, the strong force, and the weak force were once one single unified force. But as the universe expanded and cooled, these forces separated. Yet, paradoxically, they became the very forces that hold everything together. Gravity binds planets into solar systems. The strong force holds the nucleus of atoms. Electromagnetism enables chemistry, light, and life itself. But while the Big Bang is well supported by observational data like redshift, cosmic microwave background radiation, and elemental distribution, it's not without unanswered questions. And it's not the only theory on the table. Some physicists have proposed that the Big Crunch, a scenario in which the universe's expansion eventually reverses, leading all matter to collapse back into singularity, this would suggest a kind of cosmic return, a reabsorption into unity. Building on that idea, the oscillating universe or cyclic model suggests that the universe might undergo endless cycles of expansion and contraction, Big Bang followed the Big Crunch again and again, perhaps eternally. While these ideas are elegant in their symmetry, they remain hypothetical and face significant challenges. Current observations suggest that the universe's expansion is not slowing down, but accelerating due to something we call dark energy, a poorly understood force that seems to counteract gravity. If dark energy continues to dominate the universe may not collapse, but drift into eternal cold emptiness, the so-called heat-death scenario. Still, new models like conformal cyclic cosmology by Penrose or ekpyrotic and brain world theories from string cosmology suggest that cycles of death and rebirth may occur not through gravity alone, but via more exotic mechanisms across higher dimensions or multiversal fields. One of the most perplexing discoveries in modern cosmology is that the universe is not just expanding. It's expanding faster over time. This accelerated expansion is often attributed to dark energy, a mysterious force that makes up about 70% of the universe, but remains largely unknown. But there are other, more speculative theories that attempt to explain this. One such idea, proposed by some physicists, is that our entire universe could be the interior of a black hole. According to this model, when a star collapses into a black hole in a higher dimensional space, the extreme density and curvature at its core could give rise to a new lower dimensional space-time inside. From inside that event horizon we experience as the Big Bang could be the result of the gravitational collapse from another reality. This theory, often called black hole cosmology, suggests that the universe may be trapped within the event horizon of a black hole in a parent universe. The boundary of our universe, or what we think of as space expanding, could be analogous to the event horizon, a surface beyond which information and light cannot return. This model naturally produces an expanding universe and may explain accelerated expansion without invoking dark energy directly. While still highly theoretical and debated, this idea points to a deeper possibility: that what we call the universe may be just one chamber in a much larger cosmic architecture. A daughter universe, born from collapse, expanding from the inside out, and perhaps connected across dimensions by threads of gravitational memory. These theories are not universally accepted. Some are highly speculative, but they reveal something more profound about the human mind. That even in our physics, we are drawn to patterns of separation, transformation, and return. Perhaps it's memory. So even in physics, separation gives rise to relationship, to tension, to attraction, to connection, complexity. Zoom in from the stars and to the self, and your brain is a network of billions of neurons. Each individual, each separate, yet connected by synapses in a vast, dynamic web. Some scientists believe that consciousness emerges not from one part of the brain, but from the integration of many parts working. And when that integration breaks down, through trauma, illness, or disconnection, people experience dissociation, depression, or fragmentation of identity. Again, the pain of not being whole has both spiritual and neurological roots. And yet, the brain is also deeply wired for connection. Mirror neurons make us feel what others feel. Oxytocin is released through love, bonding, and even eye contact. Loneliness activates the brain's threat centers because disconnection feels like danger. We are biologically designed to remember, to feel, mirrored, connected. In quantum physics, there's a phenomenon called entanglement. Two particles can become linked in such a way that their states are connected, no matter how far apart they are. Change one and the other responds instantly. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance. But to mystics, it sounds a lot like what they've always known. Separation is an illusion. Everything is already connected. In fact, some physicists now suggest that entanglement might be the fabric of reality itself. The thread that holds space, time, and information together. And if that's true, then at the most fundamental level, nothing is truly separate. So whether you speak the language of spirit or science, of mysticism or mathematics, the story remains the same. And through connection, through remembering, we return to wholeness. We've seen how mystics and scientists tell the story of separation, but philosophers too have spent centuries trying to make sense of this ache. And one of the most powerful ideas that appears again and again is love. In Plato's Symposium, the philosopher Aristophanes tells a myth that humans were once whole, two beings in one, complete and powerful. But the gods, fearing our strength, split us in two. And ever since we've been wandering the world, longing for our missing half. He called this longing love. Love then is the memory of our original wholeness. We don't just seek others to complete us. We seek in them the part of ourselves we lost. Heidegger believed that to become conscious, we must become aware of our separateness from the world, from others, from death. This awareness creates angst, but also freedom. Because only when we know we're finite do we begin to truly choose how to live. So separation isn't just painful. It's transformational. It's what makes us human. Mystic and philosopher Simone Weil wrote, "Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity." In a world where separation makes us feel unseen and unknown, to give someone your full presence is an act of spiritual repair. To listen, to hold space, to love, not with possession, but with pure awareness. It's how we bring the fragments back together, one soul at a time. Carl Jung didn't believe the goal of life was happiness. He believed it was wholeness. The psyche seeks to reconcile its inner opposites, the conscious and the unconscious, the masculine and the feminine, the shadow and the light. And every relationship, every loss, every mirror we find in others is part of that sacred process of integration. We are not broken. We are becoming whole. So whether we call it love, attention, consciousness, or the self, philosophers agree. The pain of separation is not something to escape. It is something to understand, to feel, and ultimately to transcend. Because behind the longing, behind the ache, behind the search is a truth we already know. We were never meant to stay broken. If you've ever felt alone in a crowded room, if you've ever wondered why love feels just out of reach, why friendships fade, why no matter how much you grow, something still feels missing, you're not broken. You're human. You are feeling the most ancient wound there is. The wound of separation. A wound as old as the stars. A wound written into the soul of the universe. From the Big Bang to the breaking of the vessels. From the fall from grace to the rise of the ego. From myth to math. Mysticism to molecular physics. All of it tells the same story. There was once a unity, then a shattering, and now a longing. A longing for reunion, for wholeness, for the moment we remember that the distance was never real. Because here's the truth. The person you envy is a reflection of your unloved potential. The one who hurt you carries the same ache as you do. They just don't know how to hold it. The partner you yearn for is a mirror trying to show you where you still don't see yourself. We're all fragments of the same light. And every time you meet someone with open eyes, with stillness, with kindness, a little piece of that world remembers itself. Even your pain is sacred, because the ache you feel for connection is proof that you once belonged, and that you still do. You don't need to fix the pain. You need to hold it, to breathe into it, to let it soften you instead of harden you. When you meet the wound with awareness, you begin the repair. When you stop searching for the one and start seeing every being as one, you awaken to what the mystics always knew. There is no other. There is only you, meeting yourself again and again, in the eyes of strangers, in the face of lovers, in the silence between moments. So what do we do with the pain of separation? We transform it with love, with presence, with the radical courage to see everyone as a part of ourselves. We may never return to the wholeness we came from, but in every act of compassion, in every moment of connection, we build something even more beautiful. A wholeness that is conscious, a unity that is chosen, a world remembering itself.